This is Billie Eilish. I should have known I'd leave alone. Just goes to show that the blood you bleed is just the blood you own. We were a pair, but I saw you there. Too much to bear. You were my life, but life is far away from fair. Was I stupid to love you? Was I reckless to help? Was it obvious to everybody else that I've fallen for a lie? You were never on my side. Fool me once, fool me twice. Higher death or paradise. Now you never see me cry. There's just no time to die. I let it burn. You're no longer my concern. Mm. Faces from my past return. Another lesson yet to learn that I've fallen for a lie. You were never on my side. Fool me once, fool me twice. Higher death or paradise. Now you never see me cry. There's just no time to die. No time to die. No time to That is the single best thing about No Time to Die, IMHO. But we will not go there. Can you imagine how it affects a man so into his Britannia to see her sunken under the sea in a credit sequence to rival any of the best Bond credit sequences. Casino Royale, Dr. No, Golden, Goldfinger, to name but a few. Yeah, I love London. Look at that, the Shard there. Huh. Excellent, excellent. Perhaps we can rein it in, wind in, and import it on a Britannia or something. That was Daniel Craig, wasn't it?
Yeah. Recognisably London. Directed by Kari Yoji Fukunaga. And you know, it's not a bad film. It's just got a very terrible ending. IMHO. Fleming never had Bond dead at the end of a Bond novel. What sense does that make? Bond won't be back. Bond will not return. Is that what we're looking at? We're looking at a sunken Britannia. We're looking at a sunken Britannia. Produced by the big Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli. It was their last go round. And now James Bond is in the hands of Jeffrey Bezos. Whatever you may think of the purchase of the Bond rights, and the choice of director in Denis Villeneuve, it's a very popular choice. It is a very popular choice. And Denis is an outstanding director with a penchant for boobies. And I just worry, is that the direction we want to go back down with Bond? Plus, another white Bond, back from, he dies, only to come back from the dead white again. I'm not up for that. I'm not down with that. I'm not remotely interested in that. What's it going to be? A 14-year-old Bond in the mini James Bond adventures at the beginning? No, I'm not down for that at all. So you can colour me disinterested in the new Bond movie. I would rather see a return to the source material and a remake of every one of the original Bond novels. Only this time, Britannia Pictures will present a verbatim retelling of each story, where the scene that is set by the author appears on the screen and the lines that are read by the characters appear in dialogue in the screenplay. You could quite easily rename it James Bond, Ian Fleming's James Bond in Operation Thunderball. Pop Operation before every title. Operation From Russia With Love. Operation Goldeneye. Operation For Your Eyes Only, if you particularly wanted. We could redo them black and white. We could redo them period, most especially do them in the time that they were written, in the setting that they were written. And above all else, we have to have a black Bond. Well, I'm not going to do it. My best impersonation of Ian Fleming is a pretty damn good one. And I'm not about to write a screenplay that's already been hodgepodge concocted and handed over to Denis Villeneuve. I'm far more interested in speaking with Stormzy, who runs his own production company. Because to do a black Bond is to flip Live and Let Die on its head entirely. And if it's a white man's voodoo we're looking to go up against, there's only one bad guy I want, and that's Drexel. Only the bad guy in this Bond, let's say we get Gary Oldman, is going to be the leader of a shadowy force of organised criminals known as the Stone Cutters or something like that. Gary Oldman's going to represent the face of the establishment and its corruption, so that when our Black Bond saves the day, he does indeed save the Western world. Hashtag Black Bond has to happen for obvious reasons. Pay attention, 007. I never talk about my work. Right. So, we were at a juncture, or a junction. Previously, on spitballing ideas for Black Bond, we came up with a title on His Majesty's Secret Service. We came up with the source material for a prologue, a pre-credit scene, in the short story by Ian Fleming, Risico. And provided we've got the cooperation of Idris and John Boyega, then this is a good to go situation, guys. Tuxedos on, let's suit up and do Ian Fleming proud. It's the first and foremost ethos of Britannia Pictures on this specific picture. We have to do the Ian Fleming estate proud. We have to do the man himself proud, and we have to do the character justice. Okay? So that I don't ever have to see sunken Britannias, statuesque rusting at the bottom of the sea, and a movie that contains an off-screen death for a virtual superhero who's lasted 60-something years, leading him into a pauper's grave and forgotten by the end of the picture. I wonder exactly what it was about the project that put Danny Boyle off. You want to kill Bond? I'm not sure. I don't know how it got the green light. I don't understand that decision whatsoever, except to be able to put it down to the mizog that is Daniel Craig, who never wanted the role in the first place, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as he made perfectly clear. And he wanted to discontinue playing Bond after the very first film, and probably wanted him dead by the end of that one. So, I wonder if Danny and Daniel saw eye to eye in the pre-production of No Time to Die. Yet another unoriginal title. Including the word die pointlessly, which he then goes and does pointlessly. So, what if anything will be changed about Bond's exit? Nothing. That's how it stands. It's in cement and sunk beneath the Potomac. Bond is gone, and he'd best be coming back black. I've waited long enough. Idris has waited long enough. John Boyega was born to play Bond. Just look at Attack the Block. And yeah, I really, really need this to happen. We all do as a nation. Can you imagine Idris Elba in a tuxedo abseiling down the white cliffs of Dover, covered in chalk on his black tux, and then cut to ribbons on the beach? is where we're potentially going. So, I'm going to play a song now, and it has acted as a placeholder for me in my head as a spec theme tune for our independent Black Bond, and it's this one. You you might recognise, you may recognise the main riff. But would you believe it's by none other than, who would you cherry pick to do the new Bond thing? None other than Oasis. How can that be, you say? Imagine if this was a new tune by Oasis and you knew it was a Bond thing. Are you ready? Cue the bullet shells and the seashells and the bullet shells and the seashells of our credit sequence. And listen out for a very familiar riff, Noel. Little magpie. Here's a sound, it reminds me of when we were young. Looking back at all the things we've done, you gotta keep on keeping on. Out to sea, it's the only place I'd rather be. Can ever find some peace of mind. You know it's getting hard to climb. If I should fall, would you be there to applaud? Or would you hide behind the mall? 'Cause in my arms you grow, and in my arms you grow, and that's where you belong. Here is the Don, and here is the Governor, and we are not worthy. I'm out of time. It even sounds like a Bond movie, doesn't it? If I should fall, would you be there to applaud? Or would you hide behind the mall? 'Cause in my arms you grow, and in my arms you grow, and that's where you belong. Would you be there to applaud, or would you hide behind the mall? 'Cause in my arms you grow, and in my arms you grow, and that's where you belong. I'm out of time. You're some at a 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 time. Wicked cool, eh? That's a great spec theme tune, isn't it? Only I think Oasis don't go the ballad route. You have to go the Chris Cornell, You Know My Name, rock and roll star, supersonic, flat out, wall of sound, scuzzy, Oasis do Bond theme tune. And Noel would come up with an absolutely crunching corker of a tune, wouldn't he? Given that commission. So one way or another, let's see if it happens. Because here at Britannia Pictures, we look to bring you a British production of James Bond. A British presentation of the world's #1 spy. And a British flavour in everything that we do. Including gender equality across the board, on every board. Rule Britannia.